जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम. I welcome you all in my YouTube channel Exploring the Concepts. And my today's lecture is from chapter number 9, Kingdom Animalia. And the topic today is, which I'm going to discuss, is phylum Platyhelminthes. This is the third phylum in the animal kingdom. And let's start with its general characteristics. So first of all, we need to know the meaning of the term platyhelminths. Platyhelminthes, by the way. So platyhelminthes, by the way, comprises the flatworms. Flatworms. Now, what is the meaning of the word flat? Flat का meaning उर्दू में हम देखें तो चपटा, and worm is actually something which is long and cylindrical. Means पतला लंबा गोल हो और लंबी सी चीज हो और पतली सी चीज हो. So हम से कहते हैं worm like, right? So these are the organisms that are flatworms. Now, how we can define the word flat? Flat is actually, we have already discussed this thing, that our body has dorsal side and ventral side, right? So whenever the body is dorsoventrally compressed, मतलब आपकी आगे और पीछे बैक साइड से और फ्रंट से अगर आपको दबा दिया जाए तो आप चपटे हो जाएंगे ना, पतले हो जाएंगे. हाँ, so that what is called as flatworms, that flattened body, which is actually dorsoventrally compressed body और dorsoventrally flattened body. जैसे स्कॉच टेप नहीं होती है, स्कॉच टेप या लीफ होता है, लीफ वाइड होता है, स्कॉच टेप वाइड होती है मगर बहुत थिन. सो दे आर जस्ट लाइक दैट ऑफ द लीफ और द tape. So let's go through its meaning. The word Platys means flat and Helminth means worm. And I have explained the meaning of both the words. Flatworms are triploblastic. I have already discussed this term. Triploblastic means this body has has three tissue layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. All of the three layers are present in this group. Then bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical means body can be, there is only a single angle through which the body, if we are going to cut the body, so there is a single angle in which both the bodies, both the sections contains the duplicate organs. So the body is, by the way, bilaterally symmetrical. Only symmetry is there, but in case of bilateral cut. Acoelomate means there is no space between mesoderm and endoderm. So that is why this group of organisms is called as acoelomate. Acoelomates means whatever the space is there, it is filled with the mesenchyme tissue, means it's filled with the mesoderm, and there is no space between the organs and the internal viscera and the body wall. ऐसे भी these organisms are flatworms, so obviously there would be no space, and so that is why they are called as acoelomates. So I'm hoping there's these three terms which are very important and which are very important and obvious, that these are the first group, which are triploblast. They have bilateral symmetry and they are acoelomates. Okay. Then the body is dorsoventrally flattened, leaf-like or tape-like. This term I already have discussed along with the meaning of the word platyhelminths, that these are flat bodies, and how we can understand the term flat body. It is dorsoventrally compressed. Okay. Mostly parasites and few free living. So most of the members of the groups are parasites, and that is why the body has no much organ and organ systems. And but in case of free living organisms, so in that group of organism may have some for organ systems as well. Okay, these are the first animals who have developed the organ system organization and cephalization. Now, cephalization is actually the region of the body in which the brain-like structure is going to accumulate. तो वो एक हिस्सा बॉडी का जहाँ ब्रेन लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स एक्यूमुलेट हो रहे हो, हमने उसका नाम रख दिया सेफेलाइजेशन, सेफेलिक एंड रख दिया. और अगर सेफेलिक एंड डिफाइन कर दिया गया है किसी बॉडी में, तो हम कह रहे हैं कि सेफेलाइजेशन हो गई है. And mean differentiation of head. मतलब आपने बॉडी के दो हिस्से आइडेंटिफाई कर लिए, एक हिस्से को आपने हेड कह दिया और एक हिस्से को आपने टेल कह दिया। सो अभी तक हमने किसी भी ऑर्गेनिज्म, जो भी ऑर्गेनिज्म देखे, उनमें हमने उसका हेड और टेल आइडेंटिफाई नहीं किया, हमने नहीं कहा ये माउथ है और वो ये जो भी है, ठीक है ना। सो दिस इज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम वी आर गोइंग टू डिफाइन द टर्म cephalization, that is differentiation of head, that head part of the body is identified now, and the body also have organ system organizations. It means cells, cells, not only the cells, but the tissues, but the organs and the organ systems have developed in this group for the first time, because this is the group for the first time they have developed three tissue layers, which that is why they're called as triploblast. Okay. Okay, general characters once again. Uh, you can add these headings in your book as well, that habit and habitat. Mostly endoparasites, means they are living inside the body, as all of them are. Most of them are parasites. Some are free living, mostly aquatic, and few are terrestrial. फ्री लिविंग है, जो फ्री लिविंग है वो इधर उधर डार्क में या पानी में इस तरह प्रेजेंट होते हैं. Then their body form is dorsoventrally flattened without true segments. There is no segmentation, no body divisions, and body symmetry. बायलैटरल सिमेट्रिकल आप देख रहे हो, ये लिवर फ्लूक है और लिवर फ्लूक उन्होंने लैटरली कट किया, यानी कि सिर्फ ये एक कट वाइज ऐसा है जिसमें दोनों साइड पे डुप्लीकेट ऑर्गन्स प्रेजेंट हैं. अदरवाइज किसी और तरह से आप कट करेंगे तो बॉडी शुड बी डिसिमिलर, एसिमेट्रिकल. Okay, the first phylum of animal kingdom to exhibit bilateral symmetry is Platyhelminthes. So basically, Platyhelminthes have, match the milestones. Means that this is the first triploblast. This is the first bilateral organism having bilateral symmetry, and this is the first having the developed the is with the development of organ systems. Okay, now let's see the examples. This is the most beautiful planaria, and okay, let me discuss its labeling first. So this is this is planaria. These are its eye spot, and that is the region where nervous tissue have accumulated, right? Throughout the body there are two nerve cords are there, but this is the region where somewhat more than more nervous tissue is present or get accumulated in that region. That is why for the first time we say it, that there is a case of cephalization in this group. So because of the accumulation of this nervous tissue in that anterior end of the body, so this would be considered as the head. And this organism have eye spots as well. Obviously these eyes do not have the lenses in them, they cannot see the organisms, but through these eye spots they can identify the intensity of light, they can see the presence or absence of light, and they basically want to live in some, specifically this group of organisms. This is called as planaria. It is free living group of this free living organism of this phylum, and this organism would love to stay in some in dark. So basically these eye spots is helpful to them in identifying the dark and the light. Okay, we have discussed the eye spots, we have discussed the brain and nervous tissue. And then there is this is the gastrovascular cavity, the space, the stomach, you can say, so-called stomach. And over here we see an opening. And this is basically this is mouth, this is the pharynx, protruded pharynx. ये pharynx बाहर आई होती है. So this is the side from which, this is on its ventral side. That mouth, the opening of the mouth is present on the ventral side of its body. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से ये फूड इनटेक करेगा, और फूड को इनटेक करने के बाद ये इस वाले सारे सेंटर वाले भी चीज़ में आ जाएगा, फिर यहाँ चला जाएगा, ये सारा इसका डाइजेशन का एरिया है, एंड देन पूरी बॉडी को सप्लाई हो जाएगा. So this is planaria, one of the major free living example of this group. This is tapeworm. Tapeworm is so long, you can see, and its body is segmented as well, and it is tape like, by the way. That is why it is called as tapeworm. It has a specific head that have the suckers. Suckers are using are helpful to them in order to suck the blood from the host. So it means that tapeworm is an example of parasite. So this group have both free living and parasites examples, but most members are parasites and few examples are of free living. That is why the parasitic group have less developed as compared to the free living. Okay, locomotion. Now let's see the locomotion of the group. This species have basically is using two different types of methods for the locomotion. One is the epidermal cilia. Okay, listen to me carefully. First point, they are going to move with the help of epidermal cilia, and the second one is the muscles, presence of some specific muscles in their body, and the muscles are longitudinal muscles, radial muscles, and circular muscles. So there are three different kinds of muscles in their body, which is responsible for its not that which is responsible for the movement, but major organ through which they can locomote is there are their epidermal cilia. Now, why they are going to use their cilia? Because cilia are small and they take less space, and their epidermal, the outer surface of the epidermal cells also releases some chemicals like the mucus, which are going to helpful in moving the whole organism. So on the inner surface of their body, they have cilia, epidermal cilia. I'm going to show you. As far as the locomotory organisms are concerned, they have these two mechanisms to move. One is epidermal cilia, other is the muscles of series of muscles. But as far as parasitic examples are concerned, they do not need to move, so their movement is restricted. Means they do not have the epidermal cilia and special kind of muscles. Now these are the major examples of this group. Oh, underside. This is the underside of their body. That side contains the locomotion is through contraction and longitudinal muscles through longitudinal muscles. Cilia on the underside and mucus lubricate the organisms to allow to glide. Okay, the type of movement is called as, by the way, glide. Glide कर सकते हैं ये. Once again, this is the inner side of ये planaria है और उसकी ये ciliary epidermal दिखा रहे हैं आपको. Ciliary epidermis. Flatworms move in two ways. Cilia on their epidermal cells help them glide through the water and over the bottom of a stream or pond. एक तो aquatic है और dark में रहते हैं. Muscle cells controlled by the nervous system allow them to twist and turn so that they can react quickly to environmental stimuli. So these two major things through which they can move. They can move in the environment. And I have shown you the mouth, the protruding mouth of the planaria as well, and that move the movement of that mouth is also done by these muscles. Okay, so then parasitic organisms, how they move, basically they do not move. Flukes and tapeworms lives in digestive tract and absorbs digestive food from host, so no digestive tract. So this is one of the point that they do not have the true digestive system, but basically not for the in case of digestion, so there is no need of digestion at all, because they are going to be on ready-made food as they live in small intestine or liver. So in both the areas, there are ready-made digested food is there. So there is no need to have a digestive system. Just the absorption mechanism is enough for them to um, to absorb the food. And as far as locomotion is concerned, as they have to live inside the intestine, so there is no need to have any type of specific muscles for their movement, and there is no need to move as well. So this leaves more room for reproduction, capable of producing thousands of eggs. One thing which is very interesting about the platyhelminthes that there is no true digestive system. There is no locomotory, no, um, you know, the but the most developed system is reproductive system. The most developed system is the reproductive system. Let's go through the reproduction. They can reproduce by both the asexual and sexual methods. Means their asexual method is there and sexual methods too are present in this group. So as far as asexual are concerned, so there are two different types of asexual reproduction is there: binary fission and fragmentation. If this is the body of planaria, if it is going to cut into two pieces, then in that case it is called as binary fission. While in fragmentation, this is if you can divide the body into three parts: head, trunk, and tail. All three parts is capable of reproducing the whole body. The head region can develop the trunk and the tail. The trunk region is capable of developing the head and the tail. And the tail region is capable of producing the trunk and the head. Now, reproduction in planaria, asexual reproduction, fragmentation, head separates and forms tails, unbelievable potential for regeneration. Tails can regenerate the heads. This I have told you in the figure as well. So this was the asexual reproduction. Now, as far as sexual reproduction is concerned, so they have well-developed system of sexual reproduction. All of them are hermaphrodites. That means both the sexes present in one organism. Means they are monoecious. Monoecious means bisexual. Both the sexes present in one organism. Most of them are bisexual, by the way. Parasitic species, flukes and tapeworms have complex life cycles. They have a very difficult life cycles, thank God, due to which there is no abundance of this organism, because they have a well developed reproductive system. But as far as their life cycles are concerned, it is very difficult to find out the specific species for them to germinate, you can say, to grow. So that is why their life cycle is becoming difficult for them. So, and with various hosts, they need more than one host for the completion of their life cycle, and it's very difficult for them to find out. And several different larval stages. Incredible powers of regeneration that I have already told you. Most forms are monoecious, well developed gonads, ducts, and accessory glands. All of the things which are needed for the reproduction are present in them in a developed form. And the fertilization is internal. This is interesting. One thing, it is another very interesting thing, that the fertilization is internal in case of Platyhelminthes. Then examples of Platyhelminthes में एक example है Fistula hepatica, that is called as the liver fluke, which is that lives in the liver, in bile duct, by the way. And the liver fluke is a leaf-like parasitic platyhelminth flatworm and infects the liver of various mammals, including humans. And these are the examples I have discussed in detail. The structure of the planaria. This is the tapeworm. बिल्कुल टेप की तरह होता है, and ये इसका हेड देखें कितना खतरनाक सा है. And this is liver fluke, which is present in our liver. So I thank you all. That was the end of my phylum Platyhelminthes. I will discuss my next phylum in my next video. Allah Hafiz.